Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out AmItheA whole. Story 1. AITA for telling my half-brother the reason why my mom wants nothing to do with him. When I, 16M, was a baby, my parents divorced. My dad had been cheating on my mom, and it only came to light because his mistress, my stepmom, got pregnant and made him choose between her and my mom. 9 months, and one divorce later, my brother Ethan, now 14, was born. Needless to say, my mom isn't fond of Ethan. She doesn't hate him, but she doesn't love him either, or want any type of relationship with him. On the semi-frequently times where she sees him, when she picks me up and drops me off from my dad's house, she basically ignores him. She avoids making eye contact or ever initiating conversation with him, and when he tries to talk to her, she gives short answers and gets us both on our way ASAP. My dad and stepmom have sheltered Ethan from the past family drama, and it's always been frustrating, but I figured it wasn't my place to interfere. Because of that, he didn't understand why my mom doesn't like him. He thought it was because she hates my dad, a bit true, and is a cold, resentful old hag who can't leave the past behind and is jealous of my stepmom. His words exactly from 2 years ago, and again partially true minus the jealousy, but she has a good reason. Before y'all tell me that my mom lied to me about my dad's affair, he's admitted to everything as I've told it when I pressed him for details some years back. Anyway, on to the inciting incident. My mom planned a vacation, and of course I was invited, but she also invited my paternal uncle, who took my mom's side in the family schism that was the affair and divorce and who still remains close friends with her to this day, and his kids. When Ethan found out that his cousins were invited on the vacation but not him, he broke down and came to me asking why my mom hates him so much. He actually broke down crying. I felt so bad for him. I decided that he deserved to know the truth. I tried to break the truth as gently as I possibly could, but there's really no good way to tell a sobbing kid that he's the result of cheating, and that's why my mom never wanted a relationship with him. The good side is that he wasn't crying anymore or mad at my mom, the bad side was that he was really pissed off at his parents. Well, I had to leave for the vacation. I'm actually writing on the flight LOL, and my dad and stepmom have been blowing up my phone. They're furious at me for telling him before he was ready. I let my mom know the situation and she told me that that was kind of a jerk move because I dropped a bomb and left them to clean up the mess. Ethan isn't exactly emotionally mature, and considering the fury that I last saw him in, I wouldn't want to deal with that clusterfuck either. Now I'm thinking I might have undermined my dad and stepmom's parenting, and maybe I should have at least waited until after I got back so I could help prevent the implosion that's going on back home. AITA. Story 2. AITA for bragging about my daughter. I don't know why, but everyone at work seemed to complain endlessly about their kids. Their kids not being in college, their kids refusing to work and relying on them, their kids dating crappy partners, their kids doing irresponsible things like speeding and getting a fine. Stuff like that. My daughter doesn't do that shit. And even if she did, I don't want to complain about it to my coworkers, so I just keep quiet. Then a coworker was complaining about how his son is lazy and doesn't even want to do a full-time job and just works part-time and is already in his 30s and he can't kick him out of the house, etc. I just listened and didn't say anything, and then a few days later I'm walking by and he greets me and asks how my kid is doing. I said she's doing good, and he asks if she's in school and I said she already finished college and is working. Then he asks what she does and I said she's a structural engineer, and he seems to get annoyed. Then later on I get people telling me this coworker gossiped that I'm bragging about my daughter, and it's off-putting. I'm just stating facts and I feel like they are just pissed about their child, so they expect me to be too. Story 3. AITA for yelling at my dad. AITA for being mad at my father. I'm 16. My name is Riki. I'm a trans male. My stepsister is 17, her name is Kitty. My other stepsister is 19, her name is Rita. My stepmother is 37, her name is Coco. My father is 38, his name is Richie. These are all hypothetical names. This all happened 2 days ago. I'm sorry if my grammar and explaining is bad. Kitty got kicked out 2 days ago because I failed to put up dinner, however he blamed her. Coco and Kitty said that I should do it, Richie disagreed and got mad at them. I would have gladly done it, I even volunteered when I had found out later. Coco came up to my room while I was on the phone with my boyfriend, Venti. She told me I had forgot to put up dinner and she got in trouble for it. I said sorry and said I would come do it. Her exact words were "Don't bother, it's already done." As soon as she said that, the yelling started. It turned physical when he got in Kitty's face and the 19-year-old sister, Rita, tried to separate them but they kept arguing. But now neither of them are allowed back in the house. I'm scared I'm next. So I lost it. I yelled at him about him being a horrible father, about how he should never have come back into my life or been in a different kid's life. I was just so filled with anger and sadness over losing my sister I couldn't hold it in. But I don't know if I'm the bad guy here. Maybe I'm being dramatic? I haven't spoken to him for a day now. And I'm sorry if the wrong place to go for this, I only came here because a friend told me to ask everyone for advice. But thank you for listening. Story 4. AITA for wanting to name my son the name I have chosen. I am 29WK pregnant with a first son, and decided to name him a name, let's say Kylo. I decided to name him this name as I was drawn to the name and realized, it was a name from a popular movie and laughed as my mother named me from her fav movie, so I thought it was fitting as a laugh to name my son the same name as the son of this mum in this movie. I want to name him this because I love the name and just felt connected, not because of the move. My sister, who's older than me by a few years, named her second son, let's say Arlo, is a few years older now, and I've only seen him a handful of times as I live a few hours away. I don't have much of a relationship with my sister or her family. My oldest has a bit of a bond with her oldest, but that's it. She called to express her feelings about the name I have chosen. I have no idea how she found out, my mum could have slipped or I could have, but she said if I had any respect for her and her husband I wouldn't name my child that name as it's too close to her son's name. Now I've been wanting this name since I went past the 12-week mark and I started to pick names. People are telling me that she should show respect to whatever name I choose as it's my son, not her. So I've decided that I will stick to my grounds and name my son that. So would I be the asshole if I name my son the name I have chosen? Story 5. AITA for refusing to eat at my mills even though I live here too. So my mill had a stroke last year. My husband, M31, and I, F31, have been taking care of her since. Doing grocery runs and taking her to the doctors. We sold our house a couple of months ago and are waiting for our business to sell, so we moved in with Mill for our few weeks while we transition. Since we got here, I've been doing a deep clean on the house. Mill can't anymore. Washing walls, painting, and such. I got to the kitchen to clean out the cupboards and I find many expired pantry items. Crackers 5 years expired, powdered cream of mushroom soup 10 years expired. Inside the fridge, jars that are open and moldy. Bricks of cheese a year expired. Where she just cuts off the mold and eats it. I think it's disgusting. I grew up with a hoarder, food was always bug infested. I have issues with food. I eat fresh fruit only and I'm happy to go the grocery store every 3 days or so to maintain that. My Mill doesn't understand or care that I have these issues. She thinks all her food is fine, that expiry dates or mold don't matter. Whether she cooks or I cook, she expects me to use those ingredients, and I just can't. I tried to clean it out, and throw things away, but she just screams at me. It's been almost a week now that we haven't spoken, we just avoid each other. I know it would help her out more if I cooked, but I don't know how to cook a rotten tomato. So I just order myself food. AITA? Story 6. AITA not paying the bill for an item that was priced $2,000 more than expected. I volunteered for a 1-year position as the president of an amateur athletic league. At the end of the 1-year posting, the league gives the president either a cash gift of $2,500 or a nice ring with the team symbol engraved into it along with personal identification for the season where I acted as president. When I asked, I elected to get the ring versus the cash to serve as a memento of the season. It is customized with my name and other information specific to the season. I did not know that the ring cost an additional $2,000 above the $2,500 cash gift. It is customized with my name, and other information specific to the season. I was contacted by the league accountant and 4 months later and asked to reimburse the $2,000 to the league. I balked, saying that I would not do so since no one told me it would be an additional $2,000. Am I the asshole? Story 7. AITA calling my brother a petty child for throwing a tantrum because his dog likes me more. My 24F brother, 20M, got a puppy a couple months ago. I'll be honest and say that my brother is not suited to have a dog with his lifestyle. He loves going out multiple days at a time to party, and when he's not partying he's working. Recently he's been frustrated he can't do that as much. At first I thought maybe it was puppy burnout. I experienced this with my own dog because he's an ADHD gremlin lol, but I think it's just mainly because he's just not the kind of person who should have a dog. We did have problems when he first got the puppy because his pup loved me, but I backed off a bit and tried to let him form his bond with his pup. But more recently I've been the one watching him. I don't mind since my dog loves that the pup can keep up with his energy, and I just love the little guy. Now the pup has kind of attached himself to me and my dog. It all kind of blew up last night when my brother was calling to the dog, but instead of going to him the pup came up to me. He lost his shit at this and called me a bitch for trying to steal his dog. At this I called him a petty child for being jealous because a puppy happened to like the people who spend the most time with it, and that his dog wouldn't like me more if he actually took the time to take care of the pup. Parents are now pissed that there's drama over a puppy and that I was the petty one for rubbing it in his face. AITA. Story 8. AITA for refusing to quit acting because my girlfriend wants me to. I, 16F, am an actor. I love acting and I want to make a career out of it in the future. I join every play that my high school does and I'm going to join them this year too. My girlfriend, also 16F, let's call her Sarah, is a dancer. She loves ballet, jazz, tap, you name it. Because she loves dancing so much I agreed to do classes with her. I thought this was implied, but when I mentioned that once rehearsals for the play started I would quit dancing until it was over, because I wouldn't be able to handle both at the same time. Sarah was devastated by the news, and I told her that I was also sad that I had to stop, but she didn't believe me. I was confused as to why she didn't believe me, and she said it was because I was still choosing the fucking play over dance. I didn't know how to respond, so I just apologized and said that everything I told her was true. A few minutes go by and we hadn't talked. I told Sarah how I was feeling really selfish, but I still really didn't want to quit, and I felt like a horrible person because I upset her so much. Soon after that we started going back to normal. We were joking around and Sarah showed me some TikToks she saved and I thought everything was fine, and then she told me that it was getting really hard not to cut herself again. I was scared, so I agreed to drop the play and commit to dance so she wouldn't cut herself, but I really don't think I will. The next day I told her I wasn't quitting the play and that I only said that so she wouldn't hurt herself. I haven't gotten a response. Am I the asshole? That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.